because we've spoken a lot about Daphne and Grey Griffin, Grey DeLisle, and the Cyber Chase is especially noticeable in terms of that was her debut performance as Daphne. So I wanted to ask, do you have any memories about working behind the scenes of her at all, or in fact, like how she became Daphne in that sense?
Um, because the way, well, particularly at that time, the way we would record, they were almost without exception, or at least whenever possible, we would record as the cast as an ensemble. It would be done as sort of a theater play, if you will, and you've got everybody standing up in a row, doing their thing. Daphne actually, sorry, Daphne, Gray actually auditioned, and our voice director had worked with her before, really recommended her. She had such a likable voice. It wasn't cutesy, it wasn't, it wasn't too young, too old. It was exactly what we had been looking for in terms of being, appealing and sort of lilting and feminine sounding, but she had some power to her and some strength and sort of, you could picture her feet on the floor. The other thing is that, as you may be aware, Gray is such an incredibly versatile voice actor that she could then click into, Wicked Witch mode or little girl mode or whatever, and you could have her play all these other supporting characters along the way. Um, but I did not know Gray. I met her, briefly a couple of times at events or this and that, and certainly sat in while there was recording going on. Oh, that's where I was going to go. The way we would record is we would have the team there. We would have the voice director slash casting director present. Almost all of the direction given to the actors would go through our casting and voice director, Colette Sunderman. And in turn, she would be getting feedback generally from one of the writers would be there to kind of help guide, one of the network executives, and then sometimes the producers, or excuse me, the director would be there since a lot of it was very visual. And often I would be there or somebody from my team. And so we would funnel our comments or back and forth to them. So it was almost like getting to know someone through a one-way mirror, if you know what I mean, where I'm, back in the booth and I would, really witness Gray's performance along with everybody else, that, and that's a really long-winded way of saying I I watched that character evolve from Cyber Chase, through. By the time we got to the series, she was Daphne. Daphne was hers. Cyber Chase, she was still sort of, finding it as we all were. But by the time we were doing What's New Scooby Doo, and she would add ad libs, and it just that was so true for everybody. They just sort of became those characters once they were in the booth.